Harold, you've been a critic of this plan. The FCC just adopted it. What's going to go wrong now?
Well, it's a sad day for the American public and for the Internet globally. Here we have, for the first time, the United States, after the past 20 years, priding itself on not regulating the Internet. Suddenly, something has changed, and the American government has decided to regulate the Internet. This cannot be good for the American public.
And yet those who advocate Title II say that something has changed and that the Internet service providers have started to charge fees to pick favorites, pick winners over losers on the content side. Are you saying that Title II is the wrong way to do it, or that any regulation of the Internet is bad?
I would actually don't believe there's any need for regulation, and all of these allegations about ISPs imposing charges on content companies is really this is all hypothetical. It's not. They can't point to actual examples. This is all regulation in the name of what might possibly happen in the future. It's not addressing actual problems that we have today. It's not addressing actual complaints that are before the FCC.
Well, let me respectfully disagree. I mean, Netflix is a company that has been compelled to pay to get ahead of the line, and it's a company that opposes having to make those kind of payments. Let me read a statement from Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix, and what he had to say about this specifically. He said, strong net neutrality prevents ISPs from charging a toll for interconnection to services like Netflix. They must provide significant access to their network without charge. This is a company that, he goes on to say, allowing fast lanes gives ISPs a perverse incentive to boost revenues by allowing their networks to congest and the power to pick winners and losers on the Internet. So what do you say to that? This is a company that has been compelled to pay this to Comcast, to Verizon, to get ahead of the line.
I respectfully disagree. I'm afraid that what we're seeing here is just spin from Netflix. Netflix entered into agreements for contracts with Verizon and Comcast to effectively put themselves at the head of the line in front of millions of other content providers and users on the Internet. Before Netflix entered into that agreement, it was treated the same as everybody else. Well, that's exactly what Title II is going to require. It quite likely will prohibit the type of contract that Netflix entered into.
Well, I mean, they don't want to have that kind of, that's their argument. Furthermore, you know, what they say is that it let the ISPs congest their networks or make their networks look congested so they could charge that fee, and that was sort of the perverse problem. What do you do about that problem, creating an incentive for the last mile deliverers of content to create that congestion for the benefit of more income?
First of all, I don't agree that there is a problem. I think a lot of this is really a manufactured problem. But I think more to the point, let's hypothetically say there is a problem. Is the solution to impose telephone regulation on every broadband provider in America? Is that really the path we want to go down? Is the solution to congestion problems to make every ISP in America look exactly like the telephone company? I don't think so. I think this is the wrong solution for a wrong problem, and a problem that likely doesn't exist yet. It's all hypothetical.
Hypothetically, but not hypothetically, Twitter, another company that hasn't had to pay these kinds of fees, but has also come out strongly against it. I want to read a statement from Twitter and see if I can get your reaction. Twitter telling us, quote, in a blog post on their site, said, "We strongly support ensuring that such net neutrality rules include prohibitions against blocking or throttling of sites and services, as well as paid prioritization of some traffic over others." I feel like you know, the companies in Silicon Valley, not all of them, but many of them, or maybe arguably most of them, see real problems in this for the development of the services they've already created and the future services they may develop going forward.
First of all, again, Twitter doesn't point to an example of a single website that is being blocked by ISPs. In the past 20 years, the FCC has had complaints about one site being blocked, and the FCC took decisive action to unblock that. It didn't require new Title II regulations in order to do that. What is going on, in fact, though, is that these new regulations will enable companies to march into court and to ask the FCC to impose all kinds of conditions on ISPs. I don't think this is a very good solution. I think this is a solution that's going to lead to dispute resolutions going on in courts. For the past 20 years, these same companies, that America is the leading country in the world in terms of the development of new internet companies, they've operated extremely well without the government looking over their shoulder, deciding every single thing that they can and cannot do. It really baffles the mind to think that these companies think they're going to do better in a world in which the federal government is going to be reviewing every decision they make.